Hello and a very warm welcome to episode 2 of the Purple Local podcast. My name's Neil, owner of Purple Pod Pals, and thank you very much for listening and downloading. Links to how you can subscribe to this podcast are available on our blog page, which is www.purplepodpals.co.uk/Purple Local. I'd also like to thank you all for the feedback on the first episode and the support and encouragement that everybody's given me. It's quite a unique podcast in which I, as a small business, get to know other businesses. Everyone who's fed back to me so far has told me that they've really enjoyed the interview with Tele on the last episode, including the man himself. But for this episode, I talked to somebody I know quite well. In April 2014, I formed this business with the help of a 2-week course organised by Peaks and Plains Housing Trust and provided by the Pop-Up Business School. Whilst on the course, I met Melanie Butson. She's the owner and proprietor of Macclesfield Sewing Solutions, and we became fast and firm friends. I decided to interview her for this episode to let the people of Macclesfield hear the passion she has for her work, and it was a lively chat with plenty of laughter. She's very professional and her work speaks for itself. Here's our chat and we both hope you enjoy it.
Hi everyone, I'm Melanie from Macclesfield Sewing Solutions. I offer a clothing alterations and repair service as well as making homewares and gifts that can be found on the Renter Pew when Treacle Market is on. That's the last Sunday of every month. Before Macclesfield Sewing Solutions was born, I was unemployed, long-term unemployed, which offered little chance of gaining employment, even though I was applying for jobs and attending interviews. I have a HNC in countryside management and was actually looking for work prior to that as a countryside ranger. I can also fell trees with chainsaws, so it's completely the opposite end of the scale, really. And then I saw social media for the Pop-Up Business School and thought at the last minute, the day before, that I'd go. So I did. And as a consequence of attending that 2-week course, I started Macclesfield Sewing Solutions.
Tell me about the Pop-Up Business School, because we both attended that. Tell the listeners what the Pop-Up Business School is and how they inspired you.
Well, the Pop-Up Business School was there to help people in my situation, and they helped really mainly in building our self-esteems. Being long-term unemployed knocks your confidence to practically zero. And they gave us the confidence, and they built us up in that short space of time to be able to chase our dreams. They helped us set up our own website, put together business ideas, as well as building. The main thing I can say is that they built our confidence, and they're still there for us now, nearly a year later.
It's all about taking your hobby and turning it into a living.
Yes, I've been sewing since I was a little girl, and it was that niche that I could turn into something useful rather than a hobby.
Tell the listeners a little bit about the process. You got there the first day, you didn't know what you wanted to do. They asked you what your hobbies were, and they suggested that you make a business out of sewing. Was that something that you had in mind before, or was that something that they suggested to you?
No, it wasn't the first thing on my mind at all. I had dreams of setting up my own ecological survey business before that, and that didn't happen. And then the first thought I had was going into retail businesses that were failing and helping them get back on track. And then Sewing Solutions was born. So it evolved, basically, completely out of the blue.
So, after the 2 weeks of the Pop-Up Business course, you started Mac Sewing Solutions. Tell me about the early days. Tell us about what it was like with this new business. What did you do? How did you get yourself out there?
I used social media to post interesting comments and photos of things I was making, and and just to communicate with people. Later on, about 3 months after I started doing the clothes alterations and repair service, I was asked if I could teach sewing.
Okay, so you've got the Macclesfield Sewing Solutions courses where you teach people to sew from scratch.
Yes, I teach a beginner's course, which is 6 weeks long, and it takes you through understanding your sewing machine, how to wind a bobbin, how to thread a machine, to making a pair of PJ pants.
And you've done that around Macclesfield?
I've done that in Macclesfield and in Crewe.
Okay. How many students have you had on the course so far, and how long have they been going?
The courses have been going since September last year. On the beginner's course so far we've had about 20 students. Each class is limited space, so it can only take about 5 to 6 people on the course at any given time. And the lessons have changed. They've evolved to being much better for the students.
Okay. What else are you doing as opposed to the alterations? You've got the courses. Do you have any other irons in the fire?
Yes, I'm also making gifts and homewares to sell on the renter pew at United Reformed Church on King Edward Street in Macclesfield when the treacle market is on.
Right. Tell us a little bit about some of the things that you've made for clients. I know you've had corporate clients as well as domestic clients, if you like. Tell us what you've made for them.
I've made 10 applique cushions with the Peaks and Plains logo on for Peaks and Plains, which took quite a long time. And I've made various bags and purses. I've altered clothes. I'm altering a dress and repairing a pair of jeans later.
What plans do you have for the future? How do you intend to expand? Do you intend to grow?
Oh, I really want to open my own sewing rooms in Macclesfield. This is something Neil hasn't heard before. I've just seen his look going, huh?
I'm hearing this for the first time. Right, sewing rooms.
Yeah, a sewing room, which is basically a small shop space with 10 sewing machines in that people can either come and rent by the hour, do the courses with me, so I'll be offering a beginner's course and a dressmaking course, as well as other crafts, so hopefully there'll be other courses such as quilting and patchwork and crochet and knitting, and a sewing bee every week that people can come to just as a drop-in. The machines will be available to rent by the hour. A huge great big cutting room because it's so uncomfortable cutting out fabric on the floor. And also offering the alterations and repair service as well there. So
okay, I'll tell us a little bit about Melanie. Where were you born? Where did you grow up? What sorts of things do you like to do in your spare time?
Okay, well, I'm Melanie. I was born in Canada. Been here since I was 6 years old.
Whereabouts in Canada?
Toronto.
Toronto?
Yeah.
Beautiful city.
It is. Not that I can remember it.
What age did you leave?
6.
6 years old?
Yeah.
So you probably got some very vague
memories of how I got to the local shops and to school. Some of it was by car, but I can also remember getting to school on sledges.
Yeah, I can believe that.
They didn't close the roads or the schools for 3 snowflakes of snow.
So, when you came over to the UK, that was what, the age of 6?
Yeah.
Where did you live? Did you move here to Macclesfield?
We moved to Macclesfield, yes.
So you've been here most of your adult life?
Yeah.
Okay. Where did you go to school?
I went to school at Pussbank, followed by Titherington.
Right. And did you leave in the 6th form or did you leave at 16?
I left at 16.
Okay, what do you do when you leave school?
I had a small part-time job, which I was there for about 5-6 years. I was working in Holly Road service station down the road.
Now, I understand that you have a huge knowledge of local history. Yes,
I do. It's a big interest of mine. Just understanding where we are and what's happened in the past it's so interesting.
I understand that you are an authority on Lyme Park.
I've done some volunteering with Lyme Park as a room guide in the hall, so I know quite a lot of information about the hall that you won't find in the guidebook. And Macclesfield, the Peak District, For instance, did you know that there was 2 witches from the Macclesfield area in the 17th century who were hung at the Chester Assizes? But that's not common knowledge.
No, it isn't.
That Will Scarlet as well from the Robin Hood mythologies, whether he was real or not, was supposedly from Mac Forest.
Okay, so if anyone wants any sewing, alterations, or if they want to join your course, how can they contact you?
They can contact me via my website, which is macclesfieldsewing-solutions.weebly.com, or on Facebook, again search for Macclesfield Sewing Solutions, or Twitter, which is Mac Sewing Salute.
Tell us about what the rest of 2015 holds for you.
I'm going to carry on with doing the courses in Macclesfield, and I've had another idea which I'm not willing to divulge on podcast yet.
That's fine.
For that, so that may take it a bit wider.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
If you'd like to contact Mel for any alterations, gifts or homeware, or if you'd like to attend one of her sewing courses, please also give her a call on 07984 467 876, or as she said, you can find her at the Rent-A-Pew on King Edward Street on Treacle Market Sundays. She also appears at the Congleton Market, so if you've listened to this podcast, please say hello to her. We at Purple Pod Pals wish Mel the best of luck for the future and hope that her business continues to grow, and we really hope she gets the premises that she wants. On our next podcast, I'll be talking to another company I work very closely with, Sigma UK. They're a web design company based at Rope Walks on Newton Street, Macclesfield. I'll be talking to Hilary Stevenson, Managing Director, as well as Andrew Rickards, Hannah Pass and Jessica Blaney about their roles in the company. We'll find out all about their business and their customers, the award-winning work they've done in the web design sector, and their efforts in helping beginners get online and make the most of the internet. I've been working very closely with them, along with Helen Davis at Peaks and Plains Housing Trust, to help get people online. So if you know somebody who feels apprehensive about modern technology and computers, we run informal 2-weekly courses that help beginners and novices to the internet break down the barriers and understand that being online can be fun as well as essential to their daily lives. Please give Helen Davis at Peaks and Plains Housing Trust a call on 0800 012 1311. That's 0800 012 1311. Courses are free of charge and all are welcome. We provide tea and coffee, along with some very delicious biscuits and cakes. That about wraps up episode 2, so once again thank you so much for downloading and listening to this podcast. Don't forget you can subscribe to us on iTunes and Stitcher, or you can download the podcast from YouTube or our website, which is www.purplepodpals.co.uk. See our website for social media links, and please give us a call if you'd like to discuss having a podcast of your own. It's a fraction of the cost of a local radio advert, and you also have as long as you want to talk about your business or organisation. So from me, Neil, thanks once again, and bye for now.